I want to preface and say this right now. If you're expecting highly detailed or anything like that and like really organized, this one's not really going to be that. Okay. As you know, 99% of my videos are scripted. This, I just needed to get out there because I am honestly blown away by Asgard's Wrath 2. The way that everything is presented, the way that you interact with stuff, and just the overall lack of hand holding that you can actually achieve if you would like is amazing. So just to start off, I didn't play the first Asgard's Wrath. I don't know if any of this is to be expected or what, but they offered a recap in the beginning and they asked you, do you want to know what happened? Or could you care less and you want to go off and just play the second one? Or, you've already just played the first one and you remember everything. Just do the presentation. Just do the recap. The visuals that they give you are amazing. They tell an entire story, which feels like it could be some sort of movie realistically, and if they put a lot of detail into this, I would watch something like this for 2 hours. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it now. But moving past that and moving into gameplay, I want to talk about my experience with the world. Now, I'm not going to really go into detail on what happens after any of this, but I do want to talk about mechanics specifically. So first, when you do the recap to actually learn about the first story, again, if you've already played the first game, please just do the recap anyway. It's a great experience. Now, the Raven that you fly throughout the recap is awesome. It seems like if you look at it and you give yourself a second to really understand that this actually seems like a living, breathing raven. This seems very believable that if this raven were this size, obviously you'd be, eaten. But just visually, the animal looks like it is alive. It looks like it would be believable. Now, for me, after I did the recap and got in and started moving, the first thing that actually really connected with me was the fact that my weapons could actually interact with each other, because obviously that's what you want them to do. However, some games don't think of this. They don't actually have that interaction where you hit them together and they have that spark, that clank, that actual collision. However, unfortunately, your hands do not have that. So if you were to grab your weapon and hit it on something, you're doing that all day, every day, no problem. You have that clank, you have that actual impact, that collision with the environment. But as soon as you get just your hands, unfortunately, they go through everything, which kind of has me on that no side of things. So when IGN says it's 10 out of 10, for me, that right there is a kind of a no in AAA VR. Like, you should know a little bit better than to not have your hands collide. At least don't let them go through objects. That's just me. Pet peeve. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Throwing your weapons is amazing. You can either have full-blown aim assist, where you look at something, throw whatever you want to, whether that be your sword or your axe. I have not gotten any other weapons, but I know that there is a lot more. And it will just be 100% accurate. Now, for me personally, I like to be a masochist and try and skill my way out of these things. And that's what I've done. I have made it so that I don't have any aim assist, and when I throw it, I throw it. And I'm glad they offer that option, unlike Assassin's Creed, where there is no option to have no aim assist. And another great thing is they actually offer reasons to throw your weapons, whether that be a puzzle where you need to open a door by hitting something on the wall, kind of God of War-esque, if you will. There's also floating pots, and I didn't discover that the pots could be broken until like 15 minutes in, where I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to randomly slap stuff with these weapons and see what actually, see what it interacts with. And I broke a pot and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am Link. And it was great. Now, you actually do get stuff out of smashing pots, so I recommend you smash them all. Another very cool thing, or actually two very cool things that you're able to do whenever you throw your axe or your sword, whatever weapon you throw, is if you hit a container and it has something in it, your axe will actually grab it and you'll be able to pull your axe back and it'll put that, whatever you hit in your inventory. That goes for anything laying on the ground as well. There are these gold pits that you can throw your axe into if you see an item. And as long as you hit that item, you can then pull your axe back and it'll bring that item back with you, which is awesome. Another thing is there are hanging pots, and obviously you want to hit these, but you think that you're going to need to hit the pot, but you actually don't. The rope above it and actually make that pot fall down physics-wise and break on the ground. And it just blew my mind that they thought of this. And I'm like, wow. So you decided that maybe people are going to want to break the rope, or maybe they're going to want to break the pot. It doesn't matter. Either way, it works. Lastly, there are puzzles in this game. I'm not going to say that they're terrible. I'm not going to say that they're great. I haven't personally done enough of them to say whether they are going to be welcome, 10 to 20 hours in. But from what I have experienced, I do think that it is going to offer a unique pull out of gameplay, if that makes sense. So obviously you are doing a lot of weapons, you're doing a lot of fighting, but whenever you're trying to, use your brain, that does pull you into a different, kind of more relaxed, leveled out feeling. And the very first main puzzle that you get, there wasn't a lot of fighting in between. It was fight at the beginning and then fight at the very end of the puzzle. It wasn't any in between and, oh, you figured something out. Now that you figured something out, let's go ahead and have another wave of enemies come at you. There is one more thing I want to talk about, but before I do that, I want to encourage you that if you've made it this far, definitely consider subscribing to the channel, as I do very deep dive reviews all the way down to like the most finite mechanics in a lot of VR games, as well as talk about the industry from a speculation as well as a researched perspective. And I encourage you to watch the video at the end of this one that talks about why we're not seeing AAA VR games, and probably won't for years to come. That being said, the very last thing that I experienced with Asgard's Wrath, and I want you to know if you experienced this as well, because it's going to be detrimental if others are experiencing lag throughout their gameplay. I want to say that the lag that I've experienced throughout the gameplay is more chalked up to me recording through the developer hub. And if you don't know what that is, quick explanation is it exports all of my visuals to my computer through the USB-C port and makes it so I can record on my desktop. So that's going to be like the smallest explanation I can give you. That being said, if you experience any lag, please leave a comment below. I'm going to pin those comments. Whatever, whoever comments first is who I'm going to pin, and just everybody else thumbs up that comment so I can know how many people are actually experiencing lag. That being said, my name is Buttersomething. I want to thank you again for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.